Hi everyone, welcome back to the Southville Arduino course, and I am Rex, and this is lesson 2, and in this lesson we're going to be making our first Arduino circuit and actually discussing what is on Arduino, what is Arduino. The previous session we did the basics of kind of electrical circuits, but today we're going to actually focus on Arduino. So let's get started, lesson 2. So first, what is Arduino? It is an open source electronics platform. So actually when learning about electronics, everybody uses Arduino because it's really there's so much variation. It's open source, it's free, and it's just available around the world. It's I think one of the most popular electronics platform now, especially for hobbyists. So that's what Arduino is. It's open source electronics. Hardware that we're going to be using, it's a programmable circuit board or a microcontroller on the actual board, and it comes with a free software called the Arduino IDE for writing code. Okay, these are different Arduino boards. If you notice, there isn't just one Arduino circuit board, right? There are a lot of them, and they all have different features like micro if you just want a little small project. But the most popular one, I guess, for learning is the Uno R3. Probably it's the most affordable and it does a bunch of things. But some people, I guess, if you wanted to connect to Wi-Fi, you use the Uno R4. So I think generally for this course, we're going to be using the Arduino Uno R3. Okay, this is the Arduino R3, and this is just the circuit design. So it has a bunch of things. In the previous session, actually no, this is the first session. We're talking about this. So first, this is the USB connector over here. That's what you're going to be using to plug into your computer to upload your program. This is the restart button. So if you want to restart your program, you press this. This thing is if you have a battery pack, so you want your circuit to work without being connected to the computer, you have to connect it to a power source. So here you can connect the battery using this DC barrel jack. You have 13 pins from 0 or 14 pins, 0 to 13. You have 14 pins, okay? And you have 5 analog pins. And lastly, you have 2 power sources. One is a 5-volt power source. The other is a 3.3-volt power source. And you have this ground because every circuit needs to be connected to the ground as well. So the difference between digital pins is that you can only do a high or low off signal. So digital pin can only do a high or low, but an analog pin can read a continuous range of voltages like 0 to 5. So for reading things like sensors, you need to use your analog pins because it can read a wide variation of values. But for controlling your circuits, we tend to use the digital pins that just basically say high or low, basically on or off signals, right? So that's what digital pins do. So digital pins are here 0 to 13, and analog pins are here A0 to A5. All right, so that's your Arduino circuit board. The next thing is we're going to be learning about this next component. Other than our Arduino board, we need a breadboard. And the breadboard is used to wire things up, right? So this is the diagram of the breadboard. So everything connected to here, imagine this part of the breadboard is one long wire, and these are separate wires. Like each thing here is a separate wire. So these things are not connected. So row number 1 is not connected. This row is different from that row. They are not connected. And then you have another set of wires here. What's this breadboard for? It's so that we can wire things up pretty easily, and you'll see that in a few slides. So let me just delete all of the ink annotations and start that again so you can see it fresh. This is the breadboard, so you could see how it's all wired up. All right. So we're about to build our first circuit. Just a reminder, this is the LED that we're going to be using. The positive charge has to flow into the anode and out the cathode. And remember, a circuit can only take, LED can only take between 10 to 30 milliamperes. And just as a reminder, when we go to the Arduino board, these produce a voltage of around 5 volts. And this also produces around 5 volts, this 5-volt power thing. Okay, so we're going to start demoing that and creating our circuits now. So that's the lesson for today. You can actually pause the video, and the rest of this is just going to be the demo on creating the circuits. All right, so we're going to go back now to Tinkercad, and this is going to allow us to create our first circuit. So again, if we see here, create, we'll click the create button, log into Tinkercad, create button, and then circuits. Okay, and we're gonna name that circuit 1, my basic LED circuit. So you're just gonna press that button and you're gonna wire it and change the name to circuit 1 basic LED circuit. Okay, so what are we going to wire? We're going to wire our first this first LED. So we're not going to be doing any wiring for this first circuit. We're just going to be turning on the LED. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is go here and drag an Arduino R3. And now you already have your Arduino circuit board in the simulation. And then you're going to press code. And what I want you to do is press blocks plus text. Why blocks from text? Is because this is the actual code you need to put in the real Arduino IDE or the real Arduino software. This part is the blocks is just to help you get started. Okay, so let's look at the actual code. Let's get started. So the first thing to do is see we have these two things, on start and forever. So all Arduino programs start with these two things, on start and forever. This is the thing that loads on the start of the program, and the forever loop runs every second or every few milliseconds this is running. So here, the basic Arduino code parts, you have two main parts. On start, here, part 1, this is on start. It's the same as void setup, and then all your code goes here, code. So void setup is that in this bracket here, that's the same as on start. So that's on start, part 1. And the second thing that Arduino code all has is this forever loop, right? And that's this thing, void loop, and then your code goes here. Okay? So all Arduino programs have those two things. So what happens in our first Arduino program that we're going to run? So I deleted it. We're starting from scratch. We're just going to put set built-in LED to high. I'm going to drag this to forever. And what this is going to do, it's going to turn on this on button. It's going to go green. So here, let me press start. And here, and now you see it go green. Stop. It's gray, green, gray, green, gray. Then we're going to just see again, blocks plus text. So there's code generated for you. So this is at the start. It's you have to set up the pin. So here the pin is called LED built-in, and then you put output, and then this is what actually turns it on. DigitalWrite, the same pin, LED built-in, LED built-in, and then you set that to high. Okay, so this is our first program and your first circuit. No need for wiring yet. So this is our first basic Arduino circuit, and it's going to run, right? And you'll see it here, this part, when you press on, it turned green. So that's our first demo. Okay, now we're going to learn about these two pieces of code. So these are our first pieces of code we have to learn in Arduino. It's pin mode, and we can put a number here from 0 to 13. Remember, we have 13 digital pins, and we can put A0 to A6. So here you see the number 5, and we set it as an output pin. So this is the first thing we have to tell at the start of the setup. We have to put on start, what does that pin do? So what is 5? Pin number 5 is this thing over here, right? That's pin number 5. Okay, and then we set it to our second piece of code, DigitalWrite. It sets a pin to be turned on or off. So we'll see this here, set pin to high. So what does it do? Remember, a digital pin, these things 0 to 13 can handle high or low, and an analog pin over here, this is the analog pins over here, these are the digital pins. The analog pins can handle a range of voltages 0 to 5. Okay, so this is our second program that we're going to run, and we're going to be wiring it up. So just remember, you'll still need to remember the breadboard, the LED, and that it's a 5 volts that goes out. So first, this is our LED circuit. We're going from pin 5. So the current is going to pass 5 volts. It's going to pass here. It's going to go to the resistor there. It's wired through here. This is connected here. It's going to be wired through there, and it's going to be all the way back to ground. Ground is the negative part of the battery. So remember, things flow from the positive to the negative, and ground is the negative. Okay, so for this LED circuit, we're just going to build that. And things to remember again, our LED can take how many milliamps? 10 to 30. In Tinkercad, it's actually 10 to 20, but it can take 10 to 30 milliamps. So we know Arduino does 5 volts. We know we want, say, I think we'll do 15 milliamps. And this will help us find the resistance. So what should the resistance be? Now let's go to Ohm's law calculator. We're going to press clear. Voltage is going to be 5 volts. I want 15 milliamps. I'll press calculate. And that says I should have 333 ohms. So maybe I'll do 350 ohms just so it's a nice number. So at least 333 ohms. Okay, so get ready. We're about to wire this up now. And lastly, just one last reminder, the breadboard, this is how the circuits flow. So we're going to wire everything up. So here we're going to have this piece, and I'm going to put it here so you know 350 ohms. Let's see what's the nice symbol to draw that. That looks like ohms. Okay, so 350 ohms, 5 volts, 15 milliamps. Let's build this circuit. So we're on circuit number 2 now. I'm going to click back. Okay, now we're going to click create circuits. Okay, and then this is going to be circuit number 2. We're going to call it LED circuit. So over here, circuit number 2, LED circuit. First thing we're going to do is drag an Arduino Uno board here. Next, we're going to have a breadboard over here. And let's start. Okay, so we're going to start from digital pin 5. Drag digital pin 5. I'll press the green wire. I'll click here so it looks a bit nicer. Then I'll go to hole number 2, this one here. Next, it needs a resistor, right? Resistor, and I'm going to press the rotate button. So look, rotate, R, rotate. Okay. And let's check with Ohm's law. We said about 350 ohms. So kilo ohms, 1 kilo ohm is 1000 ohms, right? So here we want 350 ohms. I don't want kilo ohms, I just want ohms. So kilo ohms is this, I just want ohms. Okay? So 1000 ohms is 1 kilo ohm. Next, we're going to put an LED. And we're going to flip it. Mirror, 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 mirror. And again, remember, the anode, why do we need 350? Let's go back to the diagram. And it says we need 350 ohms based on our computations. And this will, we're trying to get around 15 milliamps of current. And then again, now we have to go to the anode, right? So the anode has to be connected to the positively charged part of the board. So we're going to put that here. And then we're going to put a black wire connecting this wire flows here, positively charged, to the resistor, to here, the cathode. Now I'm going to press from 7, a black wire. I'm going to click here on this corner, so it's a bit nice. Click. And then I'm going to go to GND. And GND is your negatively charged. And then I'm going to turn this on. And is it going to work? It's not going to work because there's no code. But let's try turning it on and see. Nothing happens. Well, the LED is on, but generally nothing happens. So because this is the current code. And you want to drag this and delete this. So very simple code. You're going to press set pin 5 to high. Right? And this will turn on the LED. So here, press this, start simulation, and it's going to work. It's now on. Stop, start, stop, start. Okay, second part of this demo is you are going to press Control. Maybe I'm going to wait 1 second, and then we'll set pin 5 to low. And then I will press Control to wait 1 second. And here we're actually putting, and now let's understand our code now. Actually, first let's remove, I'll put this on the side so you don't see it. And this is what the code looks like now. We start with the setup. On start is the same as setup. Pin mode 5. So pin number 5 is set to output. So that is pin number 5. And then DigitalWrite 5 high. Either you can put high or you could put low. And the next thing is delay 1000 milliseconds. At the end of every command, you have to put this semicolon. So that's for C++. Okay, now we're going to add this in. And then you're going to see the only difference is it added 2 pieces of code. DigitalWrite 5 low, so it's going to set it to off, and then delay 1000. So let's try our code now. Blink off. So now we created a basic blinker in our code. All right, so now we're going to press stop. And that's our demo circuit. So let's summarize this. And then there's going to be one extra video after this, how to wire it up in real life with the exact same thing. So Arduino, it's an open source electronics platform. There are many Arduino boards. For this course, we're using the Arduino Uno R3 board. We learned The skeleton code or Arduino code always looks like a forever loop and setup. So here, it all has this for loop and setup. There are Arduino pin types. You have the digital pins, 0 to 13, and the analog pins, I think A0 to about A5, right? So the digital pins can only input high to low, but the analog pins can read something like 0 to 5 volts. It can read a range. The digital pins can only do either on and off. And then we practiced our first piece of code, these two commands, DigitalWrite and pin mode. So that's it for lesson number 2 of the Southville Basic Arduino course. There'll be one follow-up video on how to wire it and set it in real life. So that's it. See you in the next video.